Welcome to Flourish. I'm Diane Planidin, and you're in the right place if you're ready to create an inspired life. And we do so by working on our own personal development, so we become strong role models for those we love and mentor. Today's a little tribute to the one and only Bob Proctor, Mr. Self-Help himself. He was a fierce force in the personal development world. The world famous when his bestseller came out, You Were Born Rich, and he did numerous seminars, courses. He participated in the movie The Secret, and he wrote additional books. And I encourage you, if you've never heard of the man, to definitely look him up online. He was very inspiring, and he worked really hard, though. He worked very, very hard to evolve and become the person he did. And I didn't know the man, but I consider him a mentor, an influencer, per se. In this virtual world we live in now, you can have mentors that don't even know they're your mentor. And he himself, if you've ever heard his story, talks about how he was not, well educated per se. He did not have a silver spoon in his mouth. He didn't have a lot of money. And one day, a mentor took him under his wing and taught him the ways of the world. So it's really important. I think he was a young man, maybe 25, and he lived quite a long life. I believe he was 88 per se. But regardless of his age, I mean, he just kept going and going and inspiring. Now, the secret to his success with his mentor lies in a couple of different variables. He carried around his Bible called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Actually, Napoleon Hill's wife wrote it, but that's neither here nor there. And he also heard a speaker talk about, in Canada, the subconscious and how our subconscious mind is ever so powerful and how you have to really work at bringing it to the surface. And he did live seminars. He went from town to town to anybody who could listen. Really go back in the archives. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's some really good links on the Proctor Gallagher website and the YouTube channel on his live seminars. And he talks about the psychology behind using your subconscious mind, because we all know by now that our mind is far more powerful CPU than we ever anticipated. And think about how far he's come, because he did start out after he had his own business. He went on to work with Earl Nightingale, another classic motivational person. And that's what you do. You build up slowly. His aim was always high. I talked about that last week. Aim high for the stars. Wish upon a star. Hey, and if you're shooting for the moon, well, maybe you'll hit a star, right? Very inspirational man and very well put together. But that didn't come overnight. And, there's this one quote in Think and Grow Rich. I am not going to do the whole book today. This is about Bob Proctor, but this is interesting. It says in the book, success comes to those who become success conscious. And it goes on to say, failure comes to those who are indifferently allow themselves to become failure conscious. So if you're consciously thinking, I'm going to be a success, I'm going to be somebody, I'm going to give back to the world, I'm going to serve other people, you're already a success. Think about it that way. And it goes on to say, he quotes Henley's poem, I am a master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. You gotta go on to say, because we have the power to control our thoughts. And that's kind of what I think Bob Proctor was trying to get at. We're in control of our thoughts. There's no mind control coming from other people unless we allow them past our personal Teflon. Don't allow those people into your world. But I have a few Bob Proctor quotes that are my absolute favorite. And he was kind of like no nonsense guy. And I'm just going to read a few here for you, just so you can get a feel, a little inspiration from him. Thoughts become things. If you see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand. Now, when he wrote that book, You Were Born Rich, that's where that quote comes from. And that's quite a while ago. So I like that analogy. You can hold it in your hand. The next one is you are the only problem you will ever have, and you are the only solution. Change is inevitable. Personal growth is always a personal decision. Yes, you decide. You get to choose. Are you going to fill your mind with positive inspiration, knowledge, reading, listening, research? You have to exercise your brain as much as your body, and really, in the big picture, it makes a big difference. Now, I'd like you to talk about this one. A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself, and that helps bring it out of you. So, if you follow personal development, you will hear from a number of these famous speakers that they had mentors. Bob Proctor had a mentor. Tony Robbins had a mentor. John Assaraf had a mentor. They all, had someone that had their back and had an interest in helping them succeed. Whether it was straight up, in their face 24/7 or what, I will never know that answer, but look to those different people for inspiration. Here we go. He says, the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. What's fascinating about that is how true it is and how he dedicated his life to spreading that message. Think about when you're having a dream, vivid dream, whatever it might be. It feels real, doesn't it? And that's your mind at work. That's your imagination at work, making things up and actually seeing it in action as you're dreaming. Well, when we're awake, our conscious mind, we think we're using it for thinking, but it's really our subconscious that's driving us, that's moving us forward, that's telling you where to go, what to do, how to do it. Got to energize that power. It's going to take me a lifetime to really tap into that, but I work at it, and I work at it quite a bit. I'm going to give you one more. If you know what to do to reach your goal, it's not a big enough goal. Let me say that again. If you know what to do to reach your goal, it's not a big enough goal. Wow, what do you mean by that? How can my goal not be big enough? Because you already know what to do and how to accomplish it. So that's maybe a stepping stone to even a bigger goal. The hard part there is when you don't know what to do, you get frustrated. When you don't know what to do to fully reach your goal, you start procrastinating, and then maybe you don't see it to fruition. So it's kind of important to understand that little challenge, that little struggle, that little, can somebody please push me a little harder? The struggle is real, and those obstacles are what you have to figure out along the way. That's a good goal to have when you're struggling, So I like that one. This is a nice one. Here we go. When you really want something and you couple that with an understanding of your nature, of your spiritual being, and the law that govern you, you will keep going, regardless of what's happened. Nothing will stop you. If you really want something, if that's the power of the made-up mind. It doesn't matter what obstacles get in your way. It doesn't matter how many times you have to pivot. If you've made up your mind to do something, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And you have to remind yourself of that daily. You just dig in, write down those goals, carry them around with you, set that vision. You can't chunk it off in one bite. It's little bites, little baby steps. But if you have the power of the made-up mind, that's determination. Yes, that is a superpower. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that one. Now I'm going to give you one more, because this one's a really hard lesson to learn. I treat winning and losing exactly the same. I see them both as necessary steps to get us where we are going. Big failures, big lessons. Little failures, little lessons. It's nice if you can see that in hindsight. It's nice that if you can approach your life as if it's a science experiment, because scientists keep trying until they find the magic formula. They keep failing because they know they're getting a little bit closer. Of course, you don't want to fail too big monetarily. That is a really hard one to bounce back from. That's, I'm going to say, the most difficult one to bounce back from. So really plan for that, because it can take years of determination. But like you said, like little failures, maybe not as good as big ones. But be careful what you fail at. That's just me and my mama bearness. We are so thankful and grateful that the universe gave us Bob Proctor. And he developed this wonderful institute where the legend will live on. But I really love that he was very honest with the world, very honest in his humble beginnings. He reached out for a mentor, or maybe the mentor found him. He became successful. And then he decided he wanted to teach other people how to become successful. How he changed his mindset, how he used his subconscious in order to do that, how he went for as an understudy with Earl Nightingale to learn what to do. That took some humbling, I'm going to say, because he was already running his own business, etc. But he set goals and strived, and he brought in other people to help, to teach. He probably had a lot of late nights and a lot of time on the road in order to bring his message across. So thank you, Bob Proctor. We are all more enriched because of you. And look him up online, guys. Read some of his books. Watch some of his YouTube videos. He's Mr. No-nonsense inspiration. He's just laying it out there, wanting to make a change in the world. So I hope you will take a moment of gratitude, just a moment of gratitude as I have, and be thankful for people like Bob Proctor in this world, because it will help you lead a more inspired life.